Good morning. It's Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and this is your morning news report on life, liberty, and the pursuit of the Lord. A bill to release many of the remaining Epstein documents has been signed into law. The passage comes after a controversial week, especially for Republicans in D.C. Notably, the president himself attacked those in his own party, pushing for the release of more documents, before abruptly switching his stance and calling for full transparency. The bill passed in the House 427-1. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer went to the floor with the legislation and received unanimous consent in the Senate to send the bill to the Oval Office. Yesterday, the president signed it into law. The bill passed requires Attorney General Pam Bondi to release documents within 30 days. She has at times been at the center of the Epstein file release controversy, promising over the summer that more information on the case was coming. Her message conflicted with what the FBI and the president were saying, and she was forced to go back on many of her promises. It is important to note that the newly signed legislation does allow for some caveats. The DOJ will not release information that could impact the privacy and safety of Epstein's victims, many of whom were underage. The Attorney General is also allowed to withhold documents that could jeopardize an ongoing federal investigation. Some have pointed out that Trump ordered an investigation into top Democrats last week, including into former President Bill Clinton, a potential area of contention in the document release. Finally, documents may be withheld in the interest of national defense or foreign policy if they are, in fact, properly classified pursuant to executive order. In other news, proceedings have begun in federal court against former FBI Director James Comey. The president's personal attorney, Lindsay Halligan, has been tapped to lead the case, notably with little experience as a prosecutor. Comey has been indicted with one count of making a false statement to Congress and one count of obstruction of a congressional proceeding. While the full evidence behind the indictment remains somewhat unclear, it is believed that the underlying statement is one that was made to Senator Ted Cruz, where Comey affirmed previous testimony that he had never leaked information during his time as the head of the FBI. It is further believed that the indictment centers around the accusation that information was in fact leaked to Columbia law professor and friend of Comey, Daniel Richman. The alleged leak will likely only be confirmed if the case makes it to trial. Comey is looking to have the indictment thrown out as a vindictive prosecution. His argument may be substantiated by a Truth Social post, where the president urged his attorney general to go after various top officials whom he saw as corrupt. It was unclear at the time of the post whether the president had meant to publicly send the message or whether it had been meant as a private communication, as it seemed to be addressed only to Bondi. Attorneys for the DOJ were forced to admit that a final version of the indictment was never shown to the full grand jury, seeming to further undercut their case. The judge did not provide a ruling in light of this information and asked for further written briefing on the matter. That's all for today. Have a great day and God bless.